Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Mark Isaac Potter Presents. We're visiting today with the lovely Dr. Dan Rubin. Uh, I would make jokes about the famous, I would make jokes about the famous 1960s revolutionary, but I don't know enough about Dr. Rubin to make those jokes quite yet. Hello, Dr. Rubin. Welcome to the program.
Thank
How are
you.
how are you today, sir?
I'm really good. I'm really good, Mark, and it's a pleasure to be here, and I really appreciate your invitation. Were you talking about, was it Bob Rubin in the 60s?
Um, wasn't Bob. I can I got lots of internet here. I can look it up for us.
Well,
Maybe maybe he was the one that wrote the book that was called Steal This Book. Was that the one?
uh well, now
No.
you're testing my
No,
memory.
it's all good. I got a phone right here in my hand. Let me just,
Okay.
you can
You just you're testing my
it's
memory
all
too. That
good.
goes
It's all
back
good. It's
that
all
goes
good.
back 60 some years.
Yeah, well, it's 60 years for you, but 140 years for me. I don't know. Yeah. My age timeline is yeah. It'll be more fun if I ask, well, it would have been more fun if I'd asked Gemini, but she's hello. Was there a 1960s person, revolutionary, whose last name was Rubin? Please tell us a little bit about him. Yes, many famous influencers. Da, da, da. Oh,
Well,
oh. Well,
I was
anyway, let's I'll work
I
on it while we're let's start your show. I'll work
okay.
on it. I'll work on it while we're chatting about your important things. I'm trying to get the screen to be brighter, but I don't know if I can. All right, so folks, Dr. Rubin, we're gonna give him our famous 6 questions first interview.
Okay.
And then we're going to ask him somewhere in the middle and at the end if he would please do another show with us today because I love this guy with all my heart and I haven't even met him yet. So I'm going to turn the fan up. Well, probably if I turn up more, it'll interrupt us or not. No,
No, it's not
because I'm hot in here. I just so Dr. Rubin, where did you grow up? First of all,
I'm
what
a
part
native.
of uh,
Yeah, I'm a native Floridian. I was born and raised in Pensacola, where the most beautiful white sand beach in the world is.
yeah, he's still oh, the things I could say. This is not the 2 a.m. show where I get to do blue stuff, but he's still, all these years later, promoting Florida. Still psychologically indebted to Florida, the best
Well,
white sands.
yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. So then how long were you there in Florida?
Uh, all the way through high school, all the way through high school,
Okay. All
six,
right.
16 years.
All
Uh,
right.
and my folks were still there in Pensacola, so I'd come back um, on
As any
vacations and
good
things.
son,
Yeah.
yeah, as any
And
good
then
son
well,
would.
I moved back to Florida after um, a considerable amount of years and careers and things. I moved back to Florida in, I guess it's been about 25 years now,
Okay.
to be, well, I always made this commitment to be near my children and grandchildren, and they had managed to settle in Florida.
Okay.
So that brought me back. Uh, My son was in Tampa, and my daughter is where I am now, just north of Orlando in Lake Mary.
Okay. Very beautiful. And I'm always curious about people's education, although I don't try to I dropped out of college, so I'm not one to cast aspersions either way, but I'm just curious. When it,
you want me to
yeah,
summarize my
yeah,
education?
summarize like bachelor, master's, and of course
Yeah,
you
well,
must have gone in a medical school.
okay,
So
okay. It's part of my past. It's part of my credentials, but
yeah,
it's not who I am right now. Uh,
right.
I got a bachelor's degree at Harvard in psychology, sociology. Uh, I was
Okay.
I was pre-med, and so I went on to medical school at Rochester for 2 years.
Rochester Institute of Technology.
No, University of Rochester School of Medicine and
Okay.
Dentistry.
Okay. All right.
So I was there for 2 years, moving in the direction of becoming a doctor. And instead, I got interested in what's now the preeminent medical field in the treatment of cancer, immunology, and I switched to NYU, and I got a PhD in immunology there. I got married along the way, had had 2 kids, and I went to NIH, the National
Oh,
Cancer
good
Institute.
Lord. See, you've got a very impressive. You
Oh
didn't want to
yeah,
tell us
yeah, I
about
do.
that?
Yes, I do. Yes, I
You
do.
didn't want us to feel less than you or something or what? Gee, geez
Well,
whiz.
yeah, I do have impressive credentials. They don't mean as much to me probably as everybody else, but they
Yeah,
do
well,
represent an accomplishment.
they certainly
I'm in
do.
my fourth career now, so
Okay, well, that's good for a man who's only he'll be turning 11 tomorrow. So make sure you get him a
right.
cake. What business are you in now?
Uh, well, you're leaving a whole hole in the timeline there, and
Oh,
so I got to say, I
well,
I came back to Florida, my hometown of Pensacola. To my dad was still living in, and
yeah,
I was the director of the AIDS agency there. Um,
okay.
then I got invited to become a personal development nationwide trainer and moved to Austin. Didn't work out. I
Mm,
came back to Florida and into
mm.
my third career, which turned out to be my passion actually, and
Oh,
yeah, as a teacher. Uh,
okay.
yeah, so for the last 18 to 20 years, I've been teaching online courses in biology, medical science, medical terminology, and it was my passion until about a year ago, and I got this calling to do something else, write another story. So
Hmm.
I quit teaching about a year ago,
Wow.
and now I'm on my way to being a speaker and a coach and a storyteller. I'm an author now. I've written a book called
Okay.
Living with Purpose.
All right.
And
Sounds like almost like a Rick Warren type book. Is that
well, it's just part of my brand, part of my
okay?
brand.
Okay.
So that's what I'm doing. I'm going around right now. I've been going around to senior centers to speak and motivate them to live their lives fully. That's my mission.
Oh, God bless you. That now see that's wonderful. I'll have to start calling you Pastor Dan or
Well, uh,
no, that's you got to admit, even from certainly from my perspective as the outsider, giving to others like that, and especially seniors, is very beautiful.
well, thank you.
It's a
Well,
very beautiful
I
thing to
learned a
do.
long time ago. I did a lot of other stuff along the way, and to include getting into alternative healing. I was a Reiki
Yeah.
practitioner,
Oh
and
yeah.
that's where I learned that giving and receiving are the same thing. And the giver sometimes gets more than the receiver.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm really big into volunteerism, that sort of thing.
You and I, we hit a lot of the same notes. We hit a
Yeah,
lot of the
well,
same notes.
yeah, we I
Volunteerism's been a big deal to me for all my life. I just
so
really,
tell me the most important thing you ever did in volunteering.
All right. Well, I'm going to do that since you're the guest. And the most important thing I've done in volunteering, which I feel like has impacted the most of things I've done. I've been volunteering and I still volunteer at a place that is a public access level television station called
Uh-huh.
KMVT15.org. It's a 501c3 public access television station that, in its 30-year history, has taught a lot of people how to produce television
Oh,
in a very deep way. It's like a teaching hospital, but it's a teaching television station. And of course, I was a teacher there. Uh, I've given over 500 speeches in my lifetime. I've been published in 140 places. I taught there for many years. I produced one or two shows there every month for 23 years, and I still to this day send them about one show a month. I just pick one from the pile of shows I've done that month on the podcast and send them one.
and this is for teaching. This is for teaching people how to do television producing and all that.
Yeah. Well, now that stage, it's KMV, like Mountain View, California. That's where it is. KMVT15.org. So
Okay.
they run two or three television stations. These are the really small public access stations.
Uh-huh.
So they run two or three stations. They run channel 15, which is the public one. They run a channel 26, which is a government station. And then they run another channel, and I think the other one's for like the high school kids and the elementary kids.
Uh-huh.
They run three stations, and yeah, and it's way fun. I love it, and like that.
Good for you.
All right, so yeah,
Well,
you're. Go ahead.
well, if you know what the feeling you get when you give as on a
Oh my God,
volunteer
yeah,
basis.
I can't. I often tell my guests that if I and I try to put things in a way that the people not only understand them, but they can't like not understand them.
Uh-huh.
So I say to most people on the show, if I don't give something every day, then physically, mentally, psychologically, I'm in trouble.
Really?
I'm not healthy. No, and it's true. If I don't
That's
do,
interesting.
well, it's a different approach, a little more. I don't want to use all the words I want to use because it's a little more perverted approach to life. But I just if I don't give something, I'm starting to have a bad day and it's going downhill, and the only way out of it is to go do something. I used
That's
to,
really that's really quite remarkable. The closest thing that I have like that on a daily basis
yeah,
is gratitude. Gratitude has become an integral part of my life,
okay.
and I encourage people to practice it. That
Mm,
it's more than just saying thank you. It's
mm-hmm.
for me, it's a spiritually based thing as well. But
Okay,
but listening to you talk about how giving is a daily must do for you, I would say the closest thing for me is expressing my gratitude for
okay.
everything, all the little things, the big
Hey,
things. Even well, see, this invitation of yours to be here is a gratitude moment for me.
okay. Well, I'm
I
glad.
appreciate
I mean,
your,
I'm
yeah,
getting sure. Pretty sure I'm getting a lot more out of this than you are, because I usually refuse to interview famous people just on principle. And I know you don't think yourself as famous, but from what you're telling me, and I'm not even joking, I have a safe word that I use.
yeah,
My safe word is serious. So if I'm going along in the show here joking, and everybody knows I joke constantly, if I stop the joking and say I'm serious, and that means what I just said or what I'm about to say is actually not joking, but rather something else.
Well,
Now
I
I
get
now I
that.
forgot why I told you that, but
No,
anyway, go
well,
ahead.
it doesn't matter because I'm very intuitive also. It makes what I
Okay.
do easier.
All
But
right.
I get that about you anyway. Even with your sense of humor, I get how you take your life seriously and what you're doing is it's like somewhere along the way you got a sense of what your purpose is and you're doing it.
Yeah. Well, I like you have done a lot of things, and I learned from all of those things.
Uh-huh.
I was a rogue Zen teacher
A
for
what?
a rogue Zen teacher, ROGUE.
Oh,
It means you're not really authorized to teach. But I no seriously, but I had
yeah,
been
I get it.
because I studied with some spiritual leaders. I was I guess you're interviewing me now, which is fine. Is that what we're doing probably or
Well, that occurred to me, and if that's unfair, I'll stop. But
no,
I
no,
am
I'm you're the guest. If you want to do a show about yourself, that's fine. We're gonna do 100 shows with you anyway, so we can do it either
okay.
way. But
Okay.
if you want to interview me, I my therapist is trying to teach me to stand up for myself rather than say, no, thank you.
What do,
If you want to interview me, we'll do that. It's
well,
okay.
let's make
Either
it a
way.
deal. Let's make a deal, understanding. I wasn't intending to, but my no no what my what it's a reflection of is I'm really interested in who you are.
Okay.
I'm a very spiritual person right now,
Okay.
and I pay attention to who and what shows up in my life.
Got it.
And sometimes it means nothing, and sometimes it does mean
Yeah.
something. So if you want to make this particular show about me, I'm okay with that.
All
Um,
right. Good. Okay. So we'll
th-
kind of do both.
okay.
I'm going to let you know since you've said what you've said, my spirituality runs extremely deep, and it has to do with several contradicting. I mean, it's not, of course, we know spirituality doesn't have anything to do with religion, but everybody ties them together. So we still got to do the old trope of pretending that religion and religiosity has some vague relationship with spirituality, which it really kind of doesn't.
I no, I agree with you. I don't
I
when I
told you
say
we're the same guy.
yes, no,
I might
when
as
I
well be interviewing myself. Except I didn't really go to Harvard. I thought Yale was better, so I got 9 degrees at Yale. Most of them
see
were about how to open a can of soup. That's what I learned. Most of my doctorates.
there's for me, I agree. This is just something we have in common also, I guess, Mark. For me, when I say spirituality, there's nothing really about religion in there.
No, it's really not.
It's no,
Way
it's a
not. Way not.
well, that's
Which
why they're the best one of the most important expressions of my spirituality is gratitude. I mean,
yes,
the just
yeah, yeah. And you can
grateful
find
to be
that.
alive. Yeah.
You can find
So,
that. Go ahead.
well, if you want me to talk more about me, I certainly can do that.
Yeah,
I
I almost want to tease you now and say, no, no, it's all about me. But go ahead, tell me whatever you want to tell me.
well,
We're gonna get it
well,
all said anyway.
I'm in a kind of an unusual place in my home personal transformation into becoming who I really am. And I've just that's the biggest lesson I've learned in terms of where I am in my life
Mm.
now
Yeah.
is that I can't really fulfill my purpose without being my true authentic self. That's number one.
Okay.
And as a coach or human being or facilitator, teacher, that's where anybody who's interested in getting my help to be who they really are, that's why I'm here. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, it's almost for me an essential requirement. So I just learned this along the way. I knew what my what and why were a year ago. The we're, empowering people, seniors, because I'm a senior and all that. But I didn't realize until recently, because of my own personal development and transformation, that that the most important thing for me is being me.
Mm-hmm.
And this may sound strange, but I'm 86 now, and I would say up until a year or two ago, I was not being who I am, really.
Yeah. No,
So I spent most of my young and middle and adult life being who I'm not anyway. And
right.
I
Okay.
managed I managed to make a difference anyway, which is kind of the irony. Well,
Yep.
I
No,
did I did I did good
yep.
anyway, but
Yep. Yep.
not everybody can understand that, but it's
Yeah.
true that when I discovered all that time I was not really being me.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
it didn't make me sad. It just made me appreciate what I have been able to accomplish anyway, but me being more
Mm.
dedicated and committed to as long as I'm here on the planet breathing, that's that's my biggest objective is me. And I try to honor other people the same way. And I cannot be friends even with somebody who won't let me be who I really am.
Oh,
Too many,
that's,
well, too
I
many
get it.
people today, one of the tragedies is too many people are being what somebody else wants them to be. And some of them are not even aware enough to know they're on what I call autopilot. They're just kind of day to day, every day is the same, and they wonder why. Okay. And they're bitching and
Yep.
moaning and complaining,
Yep.
but without some awareness or well, it takes awareness. It takes wanting to know why you're here. And
Yeah.
not everybody's interested in that. They kind of
Yeah.
take it for granted.
Yes. Yep. That's true. That is way
And
true.
yeah, well, and you're a serious guy when it comes. Well, I think
I
it,
know.
in addition,
Yeah,
in addition
I
to
got it.
your, in addition to your great sense of humor, you take life very seriously.
Yeah. Well, and the humor kind of helps cover up the seriousness because I would be a whole different. Anyway, yeah. So why don't we promote your latest project a little bit here on the show and
Okay.
give us whatever piece of contact information you want the audience to have for you.
Well,
Just
well, I
so
do
if
have
they
a,
want to get in touch with you, they can.
okay, great. So I have a website. Uh,
Okay.
it's www, and it's my name,
Okay.
www.danielrubin, RUBIN.net. You go there, you'll see me in my signature professional outfit of Levi's and this shirt that I'm wearing right
Got
now.
it. Okay.
It's
Good.
It's Levi's dress shirt, and I
Oh,
do have a blue blazer that
okay.
if it's cold, I'll wear it, but it's just to be professional looking if necessary. I don't wear it much, but
Yeah.
if you go to that website, it will tell all about who I am, what I do, and it's basically speaking and for the purpose of empowering other people and coaching for the same reason to help people really live with joy and fulfillment because so many people aren't.
Yep.
I find at senior centers there are a lot of people there who've bought the idea that once you're old you can't do anything anymore.
Yes.
You can't
Yes.
be you're not productive, etc. And that's just not true. My the title of my main speech at senior centers is
Mm.
the best is yet to come. And
Oh,
yeah, and the takeaway, when I'm all done, what I tell people I want them to take away from everything I say, from the stories I tell, um, is that your senior years, golden years, whatever you want to call them, are a remarkable opportunity to have the best years of your life. And you can.
okay.
And it's just a matter of realizing, first of all, that it's possible. And I'm here to support anybody, coach anybody, or just inspire somebody by virtue of my God-given energy and vitality. Because people, they hear me on the phone and then they meet me and they say, God, you sound like you're about 40, 45 years old, you know?
Very nice. Oh my God.
The other important thing about me,
Hmm.
it may sound contrary,
Right.
is that I'm listening.
Okay.
Um, and it's in the listening where I can best be myself and get my truth, what I need to know. There's
Yeah.
this there's this notion, that we have everything we need within ourselves.
Well, let
Mo-
me interrupt you
Sure,
partly
go ahead, go ahead.
because I want to say this sentence before you say it because
Okay.
we're so on the same page. One of the many seminars that I have written and led, one of the main one that I've done, I've taught over 50, well 40, over 40 times
Yeah,
that I wrote.
yeah.
The operating principle of that seminar, which was kind of approved after I created it. It was approved by my Zen teacher at that time, my Zen master. The operating principle is listening cultivates wisdom.
Listening cultivates your wisdom.
Yes. And I came up with a technology that helps people actually really change in one small part of their life that they pick if they really want it. But it's a very deep, it's so deep that I backed off teaching it because I don't have, and I'm being deadly serious here.
I got it.
I backed off teaching it because I don't have like psychiatrists and other kinds of doctors on my team. And I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a doctor. I was rewiring people's friggin' neurology to the point where society came along and said, "Hey, dude, some greenhorn from Ohio who used to, shit in an outhouse is not allowed to do what you're doing.
Uh-huh.
If you're gonna do this kind of stuff, you need to be a psychiatrist or maybe even a famous psychiatrist. Then you're allowed to go in and rewire people's nerves and receptors and all that stuff."
So you stop. So you
So I
stop.
so I stopped. I couldn't handle the lawsuit idea. And ever since then I've wanted to, I don't have the money. It would take a little bit of a serious amount of money to gather a team, even a small team of, psychiatrists and such. And I would probably have to be the teacher of teachers, teach them how to lead it, or at least co lead it, so that when we start really rewiring people, people don't freak out and go, "You're not allowed to do that." Because, you don't let the guy that fixes your transmission do the heart surgery on your wife, you know,
Yeah, no,
or
I get no,
the
I
way,
that's
the
a
way,
fascinating story. And I understand where you're coming from. There unfortunately there's a lot of people who think credentials make
yeah.
them
And no, then those people have legal authority. Those
well,
people have
yeah,
legal authority in this fake society that we live in.
Well, there's this.
I mean, they can put you in jail. They can put you in front of a judge,
Yeah,
a
no,
MAGA judge,
I
or or as
understand.
or as Jeff Foxworthy says, if you come home, if Jeff Foxworthy says it this way, if you come home and there's a transmission in the bathtub, you might be a redneck.
I thought it was there's chickens under the porch in the front.
No, no, no. If you have an ironing board as a serving table at Thanksgiving, you might be a redneck.
There's a lot of redneck
Oh,
going around.
he
Yeah,
did
yeah. No,
hundreds of them. I love them. I love them.
well, so that I'm tempted to say, what if I, for example, said to you, look, I give you my permission to help me do a deep dive. Would that be okay, or would you be?
I think it would if I think it would if and only if we really got what the courts would see as permission.
What the courts would see, not
Well,
not
yeah,
just
because
a wait, not just a waiver of liability, but
no, 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 not deep enough. Some kind of a quasi legal document that was notarized that said yes. Some kind of
yeah,
a pass by, a doctor on both ends, yours and mine, that said, yeah, we understand Mark's going to work with this guy and he has released Mark from the liability. Uh, yeah, then we could really do it. And I usually talk like I don't know shit from Shinola, but if you want to do that, I would ask you to be ready because homie don't play. If I go to that level with somebody, I don't play. I mean, it's
well,
funny. I can still be funny, but
no,
and I'm
I
going to be
I
supportive and compassionate and Reikian and all that. But we're gonna get there if you want to get there, because I took 10,000 hours of Erhard seminar training, 10,000 hours, and a lot of what I learned to write my seminar 40 years later, I learned there how to do it, how to rewire people,
ten
and
thousand hours of what?
of Erhard seminar trainings, Warner Erhard Est training.
You're talking to Mr. Est guy,
Yeah,
Earhart?
the criminal, the womanizer, the German quasi-fascist Nazi who later went to Russia.
I didn't know much about him, but I did
Oh
go.
yeah.
I did go. I've been through way back, 40 years ago. I was really into personal development, and I did a lot of those trainings, including Est and Insight
You
and
realize 40
Life
years back is
Spring.
only the 1980s,
Well, here's the thing.
because it was landmark by the time I left in 79 or 80. It was already changing its name from S to Landmark.
Yeah. Well, um, I don't wouldn't know whether those people had legal problems or not.
Oh, the answer, yes, they did.
Well, there's always people,
But if we have it set up right,
well,
our attorneys can fight with their attorneys instead of.
well, no, no, let me give you an example of what just happened in my own life as a coach. See, I never thought about this before. I'm not surprised that they had lawsuits or whatever. When you're meddling with people's psyche and who they really are, and um, you're not equipped to handle people who may be really in need of help. They're not really
People that are
ready.
damaged, you're saying, or what?
Well, not damaged, but they're not really ready for what those kind of
Yeah,
trainings can do to
they
change
think
who they are.
they think they want it because
And
everybody and his dog says I want to change.
Yeah, but it
but
could,
there's only one person out of every 2.709
yeah. Some,
repeating
yeah,
decimal that really want to change.
some people it could precipitate they're getting worse.
Well,
Okay,
most.
I'll give
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I know I just came across this myself. I wasn't planning to mention it, but I discovered. See, when you sign up for those personal development things,
Yep,
you do sign waivers of different
yep,
kind, but
yep.
they don't screen people to see who would really benefit. They just cover their ass from the standpoint of liability. But
Cover their ass and cash the check.
anybody who can pay and sign a
Yep,
liability waiver is in. And
yes,
so I'm sure they had plenty because they they saw thousands of people. Some
yep.
of them were not really ready for what that you know deep diving can do. Yeah.
You're preaching to the choir, sir.
I
Y'all be
know. Well,
preaching to the choir. Um,
there's no coincidences. I just had this happen myself. I've been I've been coaching people. Okay. Now coaches don't do deep dives. Coaches
yeah, they
ask
don't. Yeah, no, yeah,
well, I mean they're not supposed to
yeah,
anyway.
yeah, yeah,
They're
yeah,
just
yeah,
supposed to
yeah,
ask
yeah,
questions
yeah,
and help people find their answers.
yeah.
And I just had a client that seemed to be making really great progress and appreciate the work I was doing with her as a coach and sharing some of my insights. But all of a sudden, tiny little thing. I'll tell you what the tiny you. Let me tell the story, but then I'll tell you
I've
what the.
been down this road.
I know.
You're just talking to
Look,
the
hey,
choir. It's like having
Mark,
having
Mark.
one of the preachers in town go
We
listen to
already,
the other preacher preach.
we already
You want
know that
me to say what
we
you're
already know that
saying?
we have a lot in common.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go
That
ahead.
we're
Yeah,
probably kindred spirits somewhere along the way.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm going right along. This was renewal time a week ago. I was supposed to renew my contract, and all of a sudden she blew up and said, "I'm not going to pay for this anymore." Blah blah. You don't care. You don't listen.
Right,
I
right,
said, I
right,
said, I
right.
said, I said, you sound like you're a 6-year-old talking to your mother. Somehow I managed to, as a coach, to push her back to when she was 6 years old and
Oh God.
traumatized.
Yep,
Well,
yep.
she's not a suffice it, she's not a client of mine anymore. But
Praise the Lord. Yeah.
I suddenly
Hmm.
realized, wait a minute, I can do this without thinking, okay? And it's actually right now I have reservations. I have reservations about whether I should continue coaching.
Thank you.
And yeah, yeah.
Because you bring out that level.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, you know
I
what?
live that. I live that, man. I live
I know
that.
you did. Well, you know what the bottom line, my version of what we're talking about is? When I say be my objective is to be truly authentically me, that means that means going wherever I need to go within myself to unburden all the junk that's there to uncover my real self. And that can be a harrowing trip.
I want to use the word dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have courage and fortitude and
Dear Heavenly Father,
well,
I don't know what to do with this guy. All right. Yeah,
well,
I got it.
suffice it to say, we're discovering that we're both on the same page more so than we realize.
Yeah, and I hope I think we will, but I really do hope we support each other. Even if I never get to teach my class again, at least I know that somebody on the planet at one time understood the dilemma that caused me to stop.
Well, yeah.
Because that's been decades ago that I stopped
Well, no,
teaching.
but I empathize with you in that regard for several reasons. Not just the societal reasons that got shut you down. Okay,
Yeah,
all of that. No, what
right.
really that's what my book people don't realize it, but that book, Living with Purpose,
Yeah,
it's becoming a sacred thing for me. I think
okay.
everybody has a purpose, and um, a lot of people don't know that, don't want to know it, and if it sounds to me like, however you came to create that deep dive, we'll call it,
Yeah,
because you got, whether you knew it or not at the time, you got into neuroscience and neurobiology and rewiring your brain and the Dr. Joe Dispenza kind of stuff.
yeah,
But he has an MD, so he can do that.
right. That's, yeah.
But
Yep,
but
yeah,
but my
yeah.
point
Mm-hmm,
is this:
mm-hmm.
it was your purpose also. And when
I
you
don't
well,
understand.
tell me
What do you
tell
mean
me
by
whether
that?
this is true or not.
Uh,
Was that you being on purpose, and now that you're not, it's a loss. Isn't that
yes.
right? I'm gonna
And
make
the
you
answer
cry.
is,
I'm gonna make you cry, Mark,
yeah,
because when I no,
yeah,
I
no,
believe that
yeah.
when someone gets in touch with their true purpose,
Mm,
and for reasons beyond their control, I've never know until meeting you, I never knew anybody that found themselves in that position.
yeah.
But if it's true that that was your purpose and you had to stop fulfilling your purpose, um, that's tragic. Um, um, if I'm going to interview on another one of your shows, maybe you I don't know if you want to talk about that or not, but that's a serious. Oh my, I can't imagine. I don't want to go there.
Yeah,
I don't want to upset you and have you,
oh Lord.
I can see
This program is
I've touched
brought
the
to you
nerve.
by Kleenex tissues.
Yes.
Kleenex. When you really discover what you discover, use Kleenex.
Well, the other question for me, just between you and me,
Hmm.
is whether I want to, because I've been doing some deep dives, but I don't know how deep the pool is. How far down does it go?
Yeah.
Um, anyway, I'm going to be thinking about that in terms of what do I want to do about you.
Well, yeah, and there's a lot of work would have to be done before we did anything, like I said.
Oh, I
A
understand that.
lot of legal stuff.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah. It may not be worth it.
and it may not only be worth it, but it might be that what's to be done, what the universe wants us both to do is just kind of walk toward that path because in some other lifetime, you and I might meet up again in a different situation where we get to walk farther toward it. You know what I'm
Now
saying?
that's very appealing.
Yeah, because I think you and I probably won't go there this lifetime, but I think we'll meet up in some other, post singularity where we
Well,
kind of we go a little bit farther.
well, okay. Let me take a detour based on what you just said. Um, it has to do with my now understanding a little bit of quantum physics and stuff about what's really reality,
Yeah,
who we really are,
yeah,
and the notion that we're all spirits having a human experience. If
yep,
that's true, then let me just ask you. I believe it's true. If it's true, then it also suggests that it's the spirit or the soul, whatever you want to call it, that makes the decision right? Isn't that what happened? The soul or the spirit said, "Okay, I'm going to try out being a human and maybe doing something with that." So there was a quote conscious decision to have the human experience. If that's true, then what you just said is also true, which is there's a good chance that we might run into each other on another path and walk together, right?
Yeah, yeah. I would have
Wouldn't
languaged
that be
that.
fun?
Yeah, and I would have languaged what you said differently, a little differently, but it's
Well, go ahead.
basically
Give me
I
your language.
no, I have dementia. I can't I honestly couldn't remember. I'd have to start interrupting you more often to I have real dementia in this lifetime, so
I haven't seen it, but I believe you when you
well
tell
no,
me.
it's yeah, you remind me of a couple of the spiritual leaders I studied under.
Well, I do have some wisdom to share, don't I?
Yeah, yeah.
Just
Oh,
like you do.
I'm on my
Um,
phone because I don't want to mess you up with this. So that's why I'm not telling you. I have another show in 15 minutes.
okay.
That's a long time in TV. So we don't have to go anywhere right now, but I'm just checking in with my other peeps and homies to let them know that
Yeah,
I
sure.
I didn't go into a coma or something. By the
So,
way, folks, I want to thank Dr. I'll call him Dr. R for now. I want to thank Dr. Rubin because if it wasn't for him and his compassionate, lovely persistence with me in the face of my seriously increasing dementia, we wouldn't have had this show. When he called me he and I have talked back and forth now since, I think since George Washington was in short pants. And when he called, I not only didn't remember we had a show today, I thought that he was the guy that played backup for Captain Kangaroo when he couldn't get the show. So it's only because Dr. Rubin is such a gracious, wonderful, and y'all better check out his website. This guy is the and don't go limp on me because I'm complimenting you. Hopefully your ego's not that messed up. This guy is the new Gandhi, as far as I'm concerned. Or the new Buddha. He's like Buddha. He eats 1 grain of rice per day, and that's too much. So he had to go get a knife with a microscope attached to it to cut the grain of rice in half so he wouldn't eat so much. So if I were you all, if you folks have the guts, if you're not busy denying yourself as a human, as a spirit, uh, you know, get in touch with him for absolutely no reason at all or some reason. I mean, if it was me, I'd just make up a reason if I didn't have one. You don't have one, just make up a reason. Call him
you
up
know,
and say, gee, Dr. Rubin, the back windows on my truck turned lavender. What do I do?
I'm gonna need my Kleenex now.
Oh, I switched brands. Now you got to use Sherman toilet paper. It's cheaper. There's always, but you know that I like absurdism as a literary thing. So if you take the commercial about Jello that says there's always room for Jello, and then you bastardize that with the commercial for Charmin bathroom tissue, you could come up with something that says, there's always room for Charm.
Um,
All
uh,
right, folks. Uh, Unit 1 to base. Houston, we have a problem. The other spacecraft has has lost communication, even though we're still in communication. I went to
um,
absurdism and I lost him completely.
I have to say something before you.
You're gonna say "fuck you, Mark"? Go
No,
ahead.
no,
I'm sorry if I'm going too far. Just
no, you're not going too far.
okay. So the other person has now entered the waiting room, so
Well, okay,
I got to
then
sign off.
would
Let me
you,
go ahead.
can I call you at any time when you're not online?
Yeah, you could call me anytime. There's a
Because
lot.
no,
Yes,
I hope we can do this again.
yes. I gotta.
But
Yeah.
but
Let me
but
call.
what's
Let me call
what's
Sandy and make sure she knows
what's really important is we're really connected now, and I want to be able to have conversations with you, even if
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
you and me.
Yeah.
I I I have a deeper. I'm going to cry, so I
Hey,
need to go.
Sandra,
I have a
Mark Potter,
deeper
honey. I'm right.
appreciation.
Yes, I love you too. I love you, Dr. Dan. I'm here with wrapping up the show with Dr. Dan. You and I and Jackie still have 10 minutes before we got to do our show, so I'll be
Well,
right there. Just letting you
I
know,
just
honey.
want you
Okay.
to know I have a deeper sense of who you are, and
Yeah. Well, I appreciate
well,
that's
and
nice.
uh, I have a deeper sense of what the humor is.
Okay. Without that, I didn't expect you to get there.
Well,
I kind of didn't expect you to get there yet.
I don't want to speak about it publicly, but just between you and me, I think I know more about you than you realize because I am very intuitive and
Hi, Jackie. I'm just letting you know that I'm just wrapping up another show before yours.
Oh, no problem.
So I didn't I just wanted you and Sandra to both know that I'm just, this I've got 10 minutes where I have to be inside your show.
if you need
So, in TV time that's all right,
Mark,
Doc. All right. I'll talk to you later, Jacqueline. Just a few minutes, honey.
if
Yeah, no
you
problem. Should I join now or wait till
I
5?
don't know. Can you call Sandra and just let her know or go in the meeting? Go in the meeting with her. You guys kind of start the pregame show, okay?
Sure, I'll do that now.
God
Thank
bless
you.
you, honey. Thank you. All right, folks. So this is
whenever you need to say goodbye, you just say goodbye
yeah,
and
yeah.
thank you.
Well,
And
on TV
just
we
know
sign off. We
just
don't.
promise me one thing and
Yes, sir.
that we will stay in touch.
Oh, don't worry. I will probably just to make sure. I'm not joking. I will probably call you later today
Okay.
just to make sure I. All right, so folks, this is the kind of show that can be life changing for not just Dr. Dan and I, but for you guys. If in fact you folks, and I'm usually not bold to you guys. I usually tell you guys do whatever you want, but you're sitting here with Dr. Dan, and he's something. You found someone, and I would seriously avail myself of getting to know him at whatever level he will allow and permit. Even if you do a little bit, it's going to make your life a better place. So it's www.danielrubin.net, and we'll do some more shows with Dr. Dan. And God bless you all. You know my famous thing to say to you, which is that number one, I love you, and number two, the most important thing today that I'm going to do is to look at you folks and say, I love you.
Namaste.
God bless you. Namaste, brother. Let's talk soon. I got to do this other show, and then I'll try to remember to call you.
Okay.
Take care, boss. God bless. All right. So can I? Yeah, I never did one like this before. So, hey, ladies. Hey, Jackie.
Hello.
Hey, Sandra. How are you both?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm fine, honey.
Hello, hello.
Hello,
Hi,
hello.
Sandra.
I'm gonna.
Jackie.
Hey, guys. I got to say something to you about the technology here.
Okay.
I'm switching directly from one show to another, and I don't know how that'll affect the separation of the shows. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push a certain button on my screen. It should not affect either one of you directly. It
Okay.
should not.
Okay.
I'm gonna push a button called the, I know what they call it. I think it might be called the recording button. That should delineate my show with Dr. Dan, which just finished, and the show with y'all, okay? And I'll stay off.
Mark, at the top, it is it shows that it's recording. I don't know if at the top of my screen it already shows that it's recording.
Mhm.
No,
Is yours,
that's the
Jackie? Is yours as well?
Yeah, as well.
Okay.
Sandra,
Yes.
sweetie, love her. She's a good Christian friend, by the way. The reason I'm going to push the stop recording button
Oh, okay.
is precisely because we have continuously recorded
Got you.
from one program to another program. And the machine may read that as one entire program.
Okay, we don't want that, do we?
Well, I don't think we do unless we're going to get real creative and maybe have Ted Turner come over and scratch my back or something. I don't know.
No.
No. So let me, we may, who knows? We're all living in this life. That's the rumor anyway. I sometimes pretend that I'm alive. It's exhilarating to pretend,
You
Let
look
me,
pretty
let me,
alive to me, especially
yeah,
today.
Exactly.
yeah. And to think I promised myself last night that I would be more professional around you, and never going to happen. I'm too much of a silly duck to. All right, so folks, I know y'all are probably confused. What's happened here is that I went from doing a show with Dr. Dan that was supposed to go a half an hour and went for an hour, directly without interrupting the recording, into a show with the lovely, now Sandra, I'm saying it this way because she's the guest and you and I are hosts.
Of course.
So we got to butter her up a little bit,
Oh, I bet she's well worth it.
Oh,
Thank you.
that's what I heard. That's what her, two of the guys in her neighborhood called me last night and said, we are each going to put together $4,500 each and give it to you if you can get us a date with Jackie.
Oh my
And,
goodness.
yeah, and I quickly said, being the criminal that I am, I quickly said, yes, I already know that I can get you that date. Please send the money to my Venmo. And that was last night at 9:13 p.m. And by I think it was 1:06 or maybe 1:11 this morning, I had raised $32,500 selling dates with Jackie. I got one guy that's going to fly in from Albania next week.
Jackie, I think you need to cut in that, don't you?
I made him pay $9,000. So I'm good. I was putting on the air yesterday that I was poor, and now I'm going to go out and buy me one of them Ferraris.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I think you may need to pass on that, Mark.
Yeah.
Why is that? I'm sure Jesus would have drove a Ferrari if he well, maybe not. Jackie's like, what in the hell have I gotten myself into here?
Right.
I thought Jackie's looking at herself going, I thought I was the entertainer. Sugarfoot. Who are these people? All right, dog. So I'm just going to start. So, folks, there's supposed to be something called a sign in, which you put close to the front end as you can. So, let me pretend like we're starting the show. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mark Isaac Potter. Welcome to another episode of Mark Isaac Potter Presents. Today, we have the honor, privilege of visiting with two lovely ladies. May I introduce on the screen it says Jacqueline Cohen Beatty. Now you're kind of going by Jackie Cohen now.
Jacqueline is my artist name.
So how would you like me to address you?
You could say Jacqueline Cohen Beatty, AKA Jacqueline.
Okay, so we're visiting today with 4175 South 5th Street West.
Or if you just want to
It's a
say
little
Jacqueline.
long there, girlfriend.
Or if you want to just say Jacqueline, it's all
Can you
good.
pick something? Yeah, there you go.
That's fine.
Now we're cooking with salt. So we're visiting with the lovely Jacqueline, who not only won the Grammy twice, but one of those times she won it was in 2029. That's a real trick to do it 4 or 5 years in the future. And we're also visiting with the amazing, and I mean this seriously, the lovely, more lovely than I can ever tell her, because her husband told me that he has a Derringer that he carries around. I think he already got a clue that she's a Bible thumping young lady. She loves the Bible. I know she does, and I don't think we've ever directly talked about it.
Here and there.
She's polite and kind and courteous, and God knows she's a better person than I'll ever be, and that's the truth. I'm not
Aw.
saying that just to be polite. Anyway, I'm here with these two lovely. I don't know why they're allowing me into this here meeting, but they are. So we'll just pretend that, So, Jackie, the way we usually do this, and Sandra, would you please unilaterally butt in when you want, or I'll just let you do it and I'll sit back? Which would you rather do?
I like the co-host piece of it. You can lead, and then if I have a question or something that just kind of sparks my interest, I will butt in, as you said.
Okay, no, that's okay. So, excuse me for burping. I would encourage you, Sandra. I usually call her Ms. Burns, because I would encourage you, Ms. Burns, to please do interject.
Okay, I will.
Otherwise, I'm going to think, she's just trying to be courteous, and I'm the leader, so she got to shut up. Homie, don't play that. Just interrupt. Seriously, just put the fries in the bag, bro.
You're so funny.
I'm learning.
love
I'm learning
it.
what the kids. I'm learning what the kids. Jackie says, "Yeah, they're funny, but they're not interviewing me. I don't know why I'm even here." They called me on here with the pretense that they were going to actually talk about my life, and they're just all doing their myopic narcissism. That's all right. We'll figure it out. So, Jackie, Jacqueline.
Jacqueline.
Jackie, well, another
Let's get
seven.
it.
I didn't win a Grammy. I didn't win a Grammy. I
Another
wish to.
another 7 shows, and I'll have it right. Say it again for me.
I said I didn't win a Grammy. I hope
Not,
to in the
not
future.
that part. I know you.
Oh,
I know you have to.
my artist name is Jacqueline. It's spelled Jacquine.
Just a minute. I'm getting my pen to write a phonetic, because the phonetic will help me. By the way, if I say the word serious, I am being serious for about 2 micro parts of a second.
Thank you for spelling that, Jacqueline.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Jacqueline. So Jacquine.
Nice, nice.
Oh Lord.
I love
Okay,
your
so-
beautiful hair. I mean, it's just so
Yeah.
Why,
long.
thank you, honey.
It's
Oh my
not
God.
Mark, no.
Thank you, darling.
Thank you. I like yours too.
Oh, thank you.
So, Madam Guest, I have dementia for real. So would you please pronounce your name, and I'm going to write the phonetic version here on this here piece of paper.
Jacqueline.
Jacqueline or Jacqueline?
Jacqueline.
Jacqueline.
Think of it as it's Jacquine, but yeah, it's the phonetic.
Jacqueline. All right. What the hell?
Jacqueline.
Well, the phonetic is J-A, then K-E-E-N, but I got a call coming in from, oh boy, those damn people up at the space station. They just leave me alone. I swear to God. All right, so I'm gonna say Jackeen, is that right?
Yes.
And
Mhm.
folks,
Perfect.
I'll be serious. I do apologize. It is never really polite for a host, not joking, to mispronounce the guest name. I did it once years ago, and that guest never came back. So
Oh,
in the studio. All right, so Jackeen, please tell us a little bit about yourself, whatever you want to tell us. Also, if you give us your preferred contact information up front, then we'll have the opportunity to repeat it in the middle of the show and at the end.
Sure, absolutely. So my website is jacquine.com, and the email for me is info@jackine.com.
And the Jackine again is J-A-J,
CQINE. Without a U, it's just JACQINE.
Jackine. And
Mhm.
by the way, uh, Jackine, I honestly believe in repetition a lot. I think people are so busy now and they're flooded with so much that if we don't repeat these things a higher amount of time than we would have in the past,
Mhm.
they're not going to catch it.
Mhm.
So if you see me repeating things, that's why.
No problem. I agree with you.
Sandra, your turn to say something. Just make something up. I just want to make sure you're. Go ahead.
well, what I would like to hear from Jackine and for her to share with us what she's working on now, if she has any projects that she is involved in. And so we can learn more about her and what she's doing now.
Absolutely. So I have a company called Original Approach Entertainment LLC. I'm an author, a chef, a voiceover artist, a musician, a music producer, arranger, a comedy writer. I created a musical interactive e-cookbook with comedy stories and international cuisine. So it's like a dinner show in a kitchen. There's sound
Oh,
effects, there's music, there's a variety of music, various genres, from R&B, smooth jazz to Broadway to dinner music to film type of music to international music as well. There's French, Italian, Greek, and Spanish music. And there's production, there's singing. People can sing along with some of the recipes. I also have written comedy stories, so they're like vignettes, short plays. I created various characters for each one. Took me 4 years to create all of these things, these stories. And then there's a variety of cuisines. I've taken cooking classes in Sicily. I have my food handler certificate from the Restaurant Association. And I have been cooking since I'm 15 and really know how to combine spices really well and balance them out and have a knack for really combining spices pretty well. So I make Greek, Italian, Spanish, Mexican, Thai, Moroccan,
oh
Cajun,
my.
French,
Ooh.
Indian, yeah, Mexican, Eastern European varieties, fusion food.
Woo.
Um, yeah.
All right, I gotta go. I gotta go make myself a cheeseburger. I'll be back in about an hour and a half.
And then I do soup salads, some desserts,
Oh Lord.
and things to have on hand when you're trying to cook. So I've combined these different skills in an ebook so that people can enjoy. Yeah.
Wow. And that ebook is available how and where?
Yes, it's on my website. People can pay through PayPal, and PayPal takes many credit cards. I'm an approved business on PayPal, so yes, they can go on my website and purchase it.
Okay, and I'm going to say your website so that I begin to slowly learn it because I'm hoping that you're on for many shows in the future,
I'd love to
like
be. Yeah.
20, 30, and I'm serious.
Awesome. Wow.
But and
You're amazing,
Jackie,
both of you.
Sandra's eventually going to buy me out, so you wanted to put up with me as much. Um, I'm thinking that your website is JACQINE.com.
That's right. That's
Very
correct.
nice. Okay. and repetition, JACQINE.com.
Yes.
And folks, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and think that some of you, and we're going out to a potential audience. Please note I said the word potential, but I'm also not joking. We're going out to a potential audience of 7.01 billion people.
That's amazing. Wow.
Homie don't play. I mean, I might play, but I really don't play.
Don't play. Oh goodness.
7.01. The reason I know that is because my grandmother taught me how to add numbers. She finally taught me when I was 46. Took her all those years to teach me what was a 3 and which one was a 9 and all that. But yeah, because we go out to, let me turn the page here. I do really have a notebook here because I used to use a stone tablet and a chisel, and it just, I wanted to be more modern. No. So we go out to Facebook. We go out to X, which really is Twitter.
Hmm.
We go out to Tumblr. We go out to LinkedIn. And there's some good people on LinkedIn that actually do want to buy your product, even though most musicians don't think. Some musicians get more money from LinkedIn. Like one of my clients is a painter. And so the business people want to buy paintings for the lobby.
Oh, wow.
There's it's not a place to be discounted as unvaluable.
Hmm.
All right.
Great
So
to know.
Facebook, LinkedIn, Tumblr, Pinterest, and of course the show sits on YouTube. And that is actually more than 7.01 billion. I always leave one out when I add them up. But then we can also go out to a very long list, which I won't bore you with giving, but about 10 or 12 other social media sites. And
Wow.
I'm saying this to you for a reason. Number one, blah blah blah. Number two, et cetera, et cetera. And we also have contracts with 5 or 6 different companies around the world who can guarantee the number of views that you're going to get on your show. And they
Wow.
are organic views. They're not chat bot views, they're
Hmm.
organic views. And we can
Wow.
guarantee a number pretty much as high as you want. Now, does it cost
Awesome.
money to do that? Oh yeah. Are you paying for this show? No. So are you going to get that service? No, not unless you buy it. But it does exist. Okay?
Wow.
So I hope when I'm around Sandra, I always wonder if I'm being appropriate because I used to go to Bible studies 3 or 4 times a week, and I was a member of a conservative Baptist church, and most of those people just never did like me. It's too crazy, and I figure
I cannot. I just don't even believe that. I just don't believe it.
she don't.
You're very likable, Mark. You are.
Yeah, well,
Very much so.
tell that to my pet raccoon because lately he's been wanting to file for divorce, and I said, you know what? You and I are not married, so technically, you
Yeah, get
can't.
that raccoon out of there. Uh,
You can't divorce me on account of you ain't really married to me originality wise. So, all right.
What I would like to, I mean, Jackeen, I mean, you are just like well versed in so many areas. I mean, when you start talking about all those different things as far as a chef, a singer, musician, producer, listen, I think I missed a couple of things in there. I am just so intrigued by having the dinner show kind of in the kitchen. That is really, really interesting. And it's a different kind of niche,
Yes.
because and being able to offer that to your, customers and people and everything. Do you advertise that on your website, or how do you market all of that?
Sure. So I did a movie trailer. I also, have been on radio, television, podcasts, magazines, various media. Yeah. And so and then social media platforms. I've definitely advertised on various media platforms. Yeah.
Wow, that is awesome. Have you ever thought about being on one of those food competition shows like Chopped or something?
I would love to be. I really would.
Have you ever applied?
Well, I haven't. I did a project for a food company called Robo Sous Chef.
Mm.
They they had me do recipe development for them. They have handled 600 meals, over 600 meals in an hour. So
Six
I
hundred
Wow.
in an hour?
yeah, so I did food development for them, and there was one of the people there was a chef, was executive chef, worked at a major chain of restaurants. Another one, I think he might have won Michelin award, but yeah, they had me do recipe development, so I made like jambalaya for them and some of the
Ooh.
things. Yeah, I mean, I make Italian food, Sicilian food, Greek food, all these different ones. I've made Thai food. I show them Caribbean food I made. The
Mm.
jambalaya and the Caribbean food chicken curry that I made is not in my ebook because I had produced my ebook already, and I started to learn Caribbean food and jambalaya after.
Oh, wow.
And then I
Okay.
started to cook Chinese food, and Chinese food is not in my ebook. I think there's something with bok choy, but I started to learn Chinese food after I had already published the ebook. And so, yeah, I started to really, work on my skills with those various cuisines. And I love them, and they
Oh
love
my
the
goodness.
photos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing. And
It sure
listen,
does.
all of those food different cuisines are like my favorite.
Wow.
Yes,
In
you
fact,
know,
I met a food scientist yesterday who was talking to me, and she wanted to know how much I charge for recipe development. She's been a food scientist for many
you
years.
said a food scientist.
Yeah, she
Interesting.
approached me, I met her on one of a networking platform, and she
Hmm.
said to me, what would it cost for you to do recipe development? So she asked me, so it's amazing, people coming to me who are in the food business to see what I could do for them. So I just love that.
Well, and isn't that what you want? You
Yes.
know what I'm saying? As you market, all of these amazing skills that you have as it relates to, food and then incorporating, your other skills in
And I
there.
wrote a jingle for Robo Sous Chef. I wrote a jingle for them.
Oh,
That
wow.
got on radio as well. That was on 6:30
Nice.
Australia. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
That's
That's,
very cool. Very,
yes,
very cool.
I love that.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't necessarily, I guess, call myself a food connoisseur like that, but I love to eat all different I love to experience different cuisines
Yeah.
and um, things of that nature. And I've had the opportunity to travel to Europe, and how they prepare their food is different how we prepare our food
In
here in
what
the
in what
US.
ways do you think,
I
Sandra?
would say, in my opinion, and Jackie, please chime in and correct me if I'm wrong, but over in Europe, places that we visited, they don't, it's more organic, and they don't use as much seasonings as we have
Mm,
over here. Our foods are highly seasoned with a
mm.
lot of things that's probably not good for us. Um,
More simple.
but
Yeah. More
yeah,
simple.
more simple. There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I tasted the difference. When I was in Italy, there was a difference, between the food.
Hmm.
Delicious, but they had just the right balance of spices. Sometimes I think some places that I've eaten at. I mean, I've eaten at really great places, but there's been some places where the additives were too much. There was something that
Yeah.
was over salted,
Mhm.
or I don't know what they added to it, but some kind of additional ingredient just didn't make me feel good afterwards.
Yeah,
It's just,
yeah.
I don't know even what it was, but in a couple of places I had experienced that, afterwards.
Hmm.
I don't know if it was, like I had a reaction to it. I'm just not sure, but it was just, it went away, but it was like, wow, right after there was that effect.
Yeah, yeah. I hear you. I've experienced that as well, but that's a good way to put it. There over Italy, France, Greece, even they don't use a lot of the different seasonings and spices and a lot of salt and stuff like that. But
Yep.
yeah, the food is still good though,
Yeah.
because we don't need all that extra anyway.
Yeah, I love to
So
try that.
what's on your agenda for this 2025, the rest of the year? Can you believe it's June
I
already?
know. Went so
I know
fast.
half the
So
year
fast.
is over. We're on the other half. And so what do you have any exciting plans, anything on your um agenda for the next uh 6 months here?
I do. So, companies have approached me about working with me. I'm doing a collaboration project with a tech company who is, we're working on, something that I can't speak too much about, but something great.
Yeah.
And then
Ooh.
a film director had reached out to me. So I'm going to see if she gets the budget, if I get to do music for the film. And then I'm doing also a project with a singer songwriter who I'm producing. I did the instrumentation. She's going to be singing melody and lyrics and maybe doing some extra instrumentation. And then a couple of other people reached out to me, additional people, to want to co-write and do like a duet kind of thing with me, a duet song.
Oh.
Yeah, so people have reached out to me. So yeah, there's projects in the works. Very exciting, and I'm looking forward to all of these things in the future.
That
Wow.
sounds amazing. You're
You
gonna be
sure stay
so
busy.
busy.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, it's really fun, I mean, yeah, the tech company, it's not a tech thing, but it's something we're doing together that's like I'm doing music, for him.
Mhm.
And he's gonna maybe contribute some music, but I'm doing music to some of some projects. So it's, yeah, for a project for him. So
Wow.
yeah, we're doing it together. So it's
There's
like, wow.
so many things. Uh, I'll, well, go, you guys go ahead. I want to, yeah, go ahead. Keep
We're
going.
having so much fun. I'm just
Well, yeah, I
curious,
just, yeah, go ahead.
Jackie. So did you grow up with music? Was music a part of your life as a young person, as a child, and then growing up?
Yes. So I started playing organ at the age of 9 because my parents bought me a small organ. It wasn't 88 keys, it was a very small organ to really filter out sounds and just play around with the sounds. And I started to early on develop basic chord progressions from ear. Like I would
Mm.
just filter out the sounds.
Hmm.
And I didn't know what I was playing. I was just playing. And I figured out the sounds I really liked that worked together. And it was like, it was a basic songwriting, but I wasn't really as advanced as I had become later. And then my
Hmm.
dad noticed that I could sing. So he started to have me to sing to records. And so I could, later on, I found my own voice, but I could sing to records and really understand technique and style and different
Mm.
types of genres of music. So my dad really got me exposed. He was the one to really get me exposed to classical music. He would take me to places in Manhattan, to listen to records, classical music, which he loved. And I would listen, and, it was that sort of osmosis, that it being around me,
Mhm.
that it kind of drew everything in, and took everything in to just understand like various ways that people were composing and just understanding it. And later on, I got into smooth jazz. I love smooth jazz and funk,
Mm,
and
mhm.
was listening, to 70s music, 80s music, 90s music. So I, come from a background where I was exposed to a lot of
I'll be
different
back.
genres of music. So
Mhm.
that was a great thing where I have that whole repertoire of experience, having listened to so many different genres of music. So one audio engineer once told me, he says, one plus also you have in your what do they call it, feather cap or whatever you want to call it. He said is that you know so many genres of music, and
Mm.
I'm influenced by so many genres of music. I do totally my own music, but just being able to know, like, because of, growing up at age 9, from age 9 to 10 onward. And then
Wow.
I took piano lessons, but then I made the conservatory of music at Brooklyn College the second time around in opera. So
Mm.
I was singing arias. I sang in a couple languages. I studied privately. I also had jazz training. I had jazz improvisation training. So I studied with an amazing vocal teacher who would have us go around the room. There was a group session also, and then a single session I mean, each session, she had private sessions with me, in other words. And then she
Mhm.
would have a group session, and the group session she would go around the room and play this really those complex chord progressions. And she would say to people, you sing the next note in the chord progression. So it's like,
Whoa.
and the next scale. And it was like you went around the room, and it was great ear training. I feel like my ear
Oh.
evolved so well because of that. So that got me, into writing complex chord progressions, and then really developing my ability to arrange music and write music. And then I became a music producer where I could, edit vocals and edit instruments and do more than 25 instruments, actually. I could lay a
Oh,
track.
wow.
I do full orchestrations. I do film compositions. I can do jingles. I do um, different types of music from R&B, dance, pop, ballads, Broadway type music, uh, you know, international music, as I mentioned,
Mhm.
various types of music, and soft rock. So sometimes people come to me and say, "Hey, can you write this type of song in this genre?" Someone yesterday asked me, if I write a song in a certain genre. So people, yeah, come to me with different requests, for that sort of thing, even for branding.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's huge. I'm curious, what's your favorite um era of music?
Such a good question. I mean, I love 70s music. I do. I think the
I hear you.
70s was like, for me, that was the music I listened to. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love smooth jazz too. I started listening
Mm-hmm.
to smooth jazz like 20 years ago or so. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
it's also my favorite music. So I think they're both my favorite music because and I think one influenced the other, like, in a way. I think there's some relationship somehow in that.
Mm-hmm.
I love both types of music, and yeah,
I hear you.
favorite thing to hear. And then also wanted to mention that the comedy writing, I was in high school plays, and I started writing comedy. I took improv courses, but I started writing comedy on my own as time evolved over many years, and I was writing these different stories and telling different stories, and you know people would think my stories were funny, and they were, they loved my stories. Like, sometimes, I'd go through an experience. These were experiences, or
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they weren't experience, and I would just want to tell a funny story, just to see how people would react. And then and they thought my stories were funny. And then one person said to me, if you were to write stories, you'd make a lot of money doing that. And I started becoming a comedy writer. And then I do some stand up. I've done
You
online.
do stand up as
I do.
well. Oh,
I've done
wow.
I've
I
done
was
some,
wondering about that when you said
yeah.
that.
I've
Yeah.
done some online shows. I do mostly comedy writing in the back scenes of things, but mostly, yeah, mostly in the background, I mean to say, but sometimes I can do stand up. Yes. I've written
Mm.
music to it, and I've done like this combination of of a like with costumes and everything and acting, and I do voiceover, so I do character voices, and I did like this comedy routine with I created music, so I had like my own Broadway show online, like here. So I've done like these different things, yeah, and I would have like I was playing different parts, in the yeah, it was like a one person show. It was me, but
And you were the one person who
yes,
were all these different characters.
yes,
Oh
yes.
my goodness. That's interesting.
If
Wow.
you see my movie trailer, I have a snippet of my movie trailer. I've played like 5 characters on there, but
Oh,
I have
I've
a
got to
video.
see
Yeah,
that. Is that on your website?
it's on my website. There's a snippet of
Okay.
it. I do have the full trailer, but yeah, there's a snippet of it.
I'm gonna go to your website and see that. I've got to see that. I think it's awesome, you know, that you're writing comedy, because you know when we look at the world and society and how everything is, it's people need more laughter. You know, people need more
Yeah.
peace, more laughter, and things of that nature. And so, that's great that you write. So help me with this. The comedy writing is for other comedians, or that you write for other comedians. Is that right?
I
How does
write for
that work?
myself, but
You
there
write for
are
yourself.
people who approach. Yeah, I write comedy for myself, like for my ebook.
Okay.
The movie trailer I did for myself. That was there's a couple snippets of songs that are in the ebook. That was for the ebook to promote the ebook. But I mean, I could write for other comedy people. I could do different types of skits. I can do that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Wow. You're just multi-talented, multifaceted. I mean, that is awesome. I
Somebody
just
did
wish
ask me to write
I
comedy
just
with
wish
them.
I had just a little tint. I mean, just the 1%.
I'm sure you're talented
All
in
that
many ways.
amazing talent.
Oh,
Thank you so much. I'm sure you're talented in many ways. And I mean, I am doing new collaboration with someone who, he's asked me to write some comedy, with him. So that's been great. But I can do
Yeah.
comedy for other people. Yes, I can.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Mark, you're
I
back
love it every
with
day.
us?
no, I wasn't here in the first place. I'm telling you.
Who, who is this person I see in front of me with the
I
green
have
shirt on?
got five moonshine sales. What I gotta be getting fixed up so that they can be doing some moonshining during the full moon before the revenuers get out here.
Oh, mercy.
Well,
Them revenuers now coming out with not just shotguns, but they got them rifles that have the alphabetic name, like
Hmm.
I think it's called AK.
AK
Yes,
47 or something?
them A and K. Those is parts of the alphabet. Now I don't know
Hmm.
if I can explain what an alphabet is, but it's things called letters that they all put together like at a cocktail party, and
Oh,
they go in a certain order. It's very confusing. I don't know want to learn how to read or write or nothing. I don't want to learn none of that on account. It's just too much complicationness.
I hear you. Well, I
Well,
tell you what, I have thoroughly enjoyed getting to know Jackie. She is phenomenal in all the things that she is working on, all the projects, and it's just exciting to, hear all the things, and just wish you the best of luck. I mean, and just, really hoping that some of the potential projects and some of the things that are expected to come into fruition by the end of the year just explode for you.
thank you so much, Sandra. I appreciate you so much, and Mark, I appreciate you also so much. You're both fantastic, and wish you all the best too. I mean, with all the things that you do and the wonderful projects, whatever it is that you're working on. And so, and I appreciate you having me here as well.
well,
Absolutely.
yeah, a couple things here. first of all, young lady, I really would like you to come back as soon as you can.
Yeah, of course.
And Sandra,
Yes.
I want you to please take on as much responsibility as you want. I do want to publicly say I'm not paying Sandra. We
Mhm.
don't have the money for it, but if we did, we would. But so I don't want you to take more than you can because it's all volunteer, but do what you want to do. I'm going to give you a couple of examples of things that I'm going to offer to let you take on with Jack Queen only, not the other Jack Queen, not the other future guests.
Okay.
Number one, if you want to schedule shows with her, that's fine with me. Just make sure I'm in the loop so I can be there. And you'll learn how to send her the link and all that. And there was something else, but I forgot because of my dementia. But yeah, I hope we do a show. One thing we do on our show, Jackeen, is we pick a day of the month. Like we say, we're going to have Jackeen on every third Tuesday. We're going to do 2 shows from like 1 to 3.
Oh, neat.
And
Yeah,
then we
that's
all
great.
know that that's when we do them. So
Okay.
y'all get together by phone or whatever and hash that out.
I
Once
would
you
love
get it
that.
hashed out, then let me know so I can participate because I don't think Sandra wants to fly solo quite yet. And
No,
then
but I tell you what, I am looking forward to following up with Jackeen and hearing more about some of the projects that she has going on. And I know it'll be a great, exciting time.
we get her
Absolutely.
get
Same here.
get her
Same
in
here
front
for
of a
sure.
camera talking about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
We're in the business of a TV show, so get her.
of course.
Yeah, okay, that's one. The other thing is, Sandra, I know you haven't done the sign off ever, but what I'm going to do today, folks, and I'm sure you'll all, it's nice to have a new person learning something. So I want you all to be here for us.
Sure.
I'm going to do my traditional sign off, and then I'm going to turn to Sandra and let her do a sign off. Now, here's how this works. When you're first a TV host and you're learning to do sign offs, over the first year, year and a half, you slowly get to know yourself as a host to the point where you get your own special sign off that you use. It doesn't come immediately, but over
Mhm.
time, you come to it like noticing that there's a really pretty flower in your neighbor's yard or something. So I'm going to do mine, and then it will not be the end of the show like usual, but rather I will turn to Sandra and let her do one. This is one of her early ones, so just give her some space, and you guys might. Sandra, do you want to give some contact information in case the audience wants to compliment you today or anything? Why don't you go ahead and
Well,
give us
they
something?
can do it through you. I'm fine with that.
Are you sure?
I am.
All right. Well, I'm not always the most reliable person, honey. You might want to rethink that. I'm eating
Yeah.
shredded cheese out of my hand because all these guys could talk about was food.
Oh my God. I know, right? Honey,
Did I make
listen,
you
it
that
was making
hungry?
me hungry. I was like, oh,
I
wait.
eat, I'm from Ohio. I literally, not joking. I eat 4 to 6 meals a day, and none of them are small.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Now we're learning all these people's stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've been visiting today with Jaqueen, who is a marvelous, highly accomplished, I think above highly accomplished person in so many areas that I seriously can't even remember them all. She's going to honor us with her presence again in the future, and we just love her to death. And also our co-host Sandra Burns, who's worked hard to learn the business, and hopefully, I hope someday she has her own show in her own style, whatever way she wants it to be. And what I always like to say to you all, and I usually start crying when I say this.
Oh,
Number one, oh God, number one, I love you. Number one, I love you guys, and 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 number two, probably the most important thing I'm gonna say or do all day is to
Oh.
tell you that I love you.
Oh, we love you too.
Yes, Mark, we love you. Thank you so much
Oh,
for your heart, Mark.
do your
Yeah.
sign off, honey. Do your own sign off in your own style.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for spending time with us today as we have spent time with the most amazing Jackeen and all the wonderful, oh gosh, skills and um, projects that she's involved with. And it's just been a joy to meet Jackeen and spend time with her. And remember, her website is www.jackine, that's JACQINE.com. Reach out if you are in need of someone who has numerous skills. And I don't want to leave anything off, but I want to let you know that she's a producer, she's a musician, she's a chef, she's a singer. Um, she is doing some amazing work, and we want to promote her. We want to support her and reach out to Jackeen for those services and request her services because she is an amazing lady, and it's been a joy visiting.
So much.
Thank you all for joining us, and goodbye.
Thank you very much.
All right,
Thank you
kids.
both
I
very
love
much.
you. I'm gonna cut
Love
this
you.
off.
Love you too.
both.
Have a wonderful
Bye-bye.
weekend. Thank you.
Thanks.
both.
You
Bye-bye.
too.
Nice to meet you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Jackie.